Good evening, everybody, North America, wherever you are tuning in from. This is the United States Cup 2026, where we have a losers bracket matchup here for I believe, what is to be the final match of this weekend here in the round of 16. Between Minnesota and Michigan. This is going to be seed 26 Minnesota and seed 23 Michigan. So on paper should be pretty even. I am going to be your caster Liliana, and joining me in the booth is going to be your lovely, lovely Matt Pooler. Dada, how are we doing?
Hey, what's
Hey!
up? So fun fact, we had a Maple showcase scheduled for before everything, and then from carrying an oven and a washing machine, I like hurt my back and was also like completely tired, so we had to postpone that.
Boy.
And then also because of the US match, but let's not talk about that. Even though I am very amused that karma exists.
You know what? Let's not talk about that. I'm fine with talking about it, honestly. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I'm kind of happy US lost. I'm not gonna lie, especially the way they did.
Yeah.
But,
Let's maybe some people aren't happy, so let's avoid that.
you know what? We're gonna talk about Osu game here. It's gonna be Minnesota versus Michigan. You've got the captains Chibi and Tricky Pugster. For Minnesota, rounded out by Garrett Curie, which is, I believe, Kirito, Lillian Swick, and Yo Destin. Over on the side of Michigan, it's going to be Tricky Pugster, Atara, Comlol, Silboy, Type Diamond, and Umar. Are any of those name changes just now? Am I crazy?
Can check.
I'm looking. No, I don't think so. No, just not off the sheet. I thought I read a different name for their team, but yep, these are going to be your rosters here, and we do have some warm ups. And Dada, I'm being informed that for Minnesota, they do have Swick back in the U.S., so that is really important, I feel like, as one of the key players for Minnesota. So their chances of winning just went up by quite a bit, I feel like.
Guys, Swick is not in Japan anymore. We don't have to
Swick
make
is
that joke.
He's free.
He's free from the shackles of anime and traditional Japanese history.
What else do you do in Japan? I've never been.
I mean, it depends who you are, but usually it's like
What are the touristy things, you know?
you go to Akiba, you get like anime merch, you go to specific spots that like are pretty like maybe you go to Fukuoka and go like the sort of like coast, maybe you go up, you ski in like Sapporo and stuff like that.
Okay.
You can go to like Kyoto and go to like the historical districts. You can go to like Osaka and do things that I can't say on stream.
Oh. I mean, it is USC at late night, you know.
Yeah, you can go to like onsens and whatever. Like it depends on what you want out of your trip, but there's a lot of stuff to do.
Okay. Might have to visit sometime.
Did you travel to Japan, Dada? Not yet. I'm planning a trip, hopefully early next year.
Well, that'll be pretty fun. Sounds like you know, kind of what you want to do potentially. But yeah, this is gonna be a.
Place I want to go is the Great USA. Where do you want to go in either of these two states?
I mean, they are basically right next to each other. So, actually, are they not touching with the Upper Peninsula?
They might be.
I'm pretty sure they
are.
There's
a Wisconsin in the middle, so I'm not sure.
Or is that Wisconsin? Hold on, I gotta pull up the map. Michigan is like a neighboring state of mine. I should know this. Yeah, there is a Wisconsin in between. Right. So I was thinking Minnesota was Wisconsin and vice versa. Hey, sorry to anybody from Wisconsin and to all of the Minnesota gang that I may have just offended. And anybody else who is a geography nerd. Nerds.
Sorry.
Sorry, couldn't be me. No, yeah, this is the final match, right? I think for this weekend. So, you mentioned no Matt Pool Showcase because you hurt your back. What, like, are you doing okay, man?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like overexertion, I think, because after I slept for basically 4 hours, it was fine. It's still hurting, but it's not like in flames anymore.
Gotcha.
But yeah, just a quick roster overview. So out from Minnesota were MQ and Eves, and then in was Kiri and Garrett. For Michigan, they had a real roster overall. James, Consumer Bean, Booga, and Blendra were all not on the team. Meanwhile, Umar, Soboy, Komlal, and Atara all joined.
Yeah, picking up some of the 5-digit Michigan players. I think both Soboy and Atara are 5 digits, or at least they've been pretty prominent in the 5-digit scene for a lot of the U.S. tourneys that for those 5 digits. Yeah, I mean these are like not bad changes necessarily. I feel like especially for Minnesota, I'm pretty sure Garrett's been on the team previously, so would just be a returning player having not played for a year. As far as some of the other players on Michigan that are getting switched in here, I'm really not sure actually if this is their first year or not. Well, you probably have those stats there as well, don't you?
No, I do not.
Oh!
But yeah, I think it probably is their first year. I don't recognize any of the names off of memory. Oh my god, it's a Chubi map.
Yes. We were born to make history. That slider was off screen. Completely unrankable. Unacceptable.
Sure. Who would ever, like, map unrankable stuff?
I couldn't be me. But yeah, no, this is gonna be the second warm-up. These two teams, I think skill set wise, they actually do have quite a bit of overlap. I think that these are both teams that quite enjoy their hit-ins. And I know that Minnesota is probably going to do a lot more of the mechanics over Michigan, but they are still quite good on a lot of the gimmick stuff as well. So I do think that probably pick strategy is just going to be mechanics for Minnesota, and then let Michigan pick into some of the more gimmick-based stuff. But I mean, for Michigan, you still have Tricky Pugster on the team who can pretty much play anything. Like, the dude is just the Michigan tournament player. So you know, I am curious to see exactly where these two teams are going to, what these two teams are going to try to do for their pick strategy here, but I'm leaning more towards mechanics Minnesota and gimmick Michigan.
I don't even know Ohio. Okay. I just noticed the spelling there on the song, but I do think Minnesota's a little bit favored on the gimmick, but that's because I don't really know many of the new additions to Michigan, so I might be wrong on that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so Atara is like hidden gimmick player. Silboy, I do believe also enjoys hidden and reading. So these are both additions for the gimmick roster. As far as the other two new players for them, I'm really not too familiar with their skill sets. So that's why I was thinking that potentially that could be why they might go down that route. But actually,
Someone
no, is
saying yes,
Silboy?
Silboy, please show
Yeah, I
hidden
think
is
Silboy might be
feels a little bit.
mechanics.
Yeah, it feels a little bit in jest.
Could not remember. There's a lot of I'm also quite involved in like the 5-digit scene, and I do get confused with different skill sets on so many of the players, but yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we are just trolling in the chat, but either way, we're gonna get the pick ban phase going here. It's gonna be second ban chosen from Minnesota. So Michigan now has the choice of first or second pick here, which I feel like first pick is probably better, but second pick is what they're gonna choose. And the reason why I think first pick would have been better is just because like you're guaranteed 3 picks no matter what. So and these two teams, I do think that these two teams could go the distance. Although with the hour pushback and with it being as late as it is, I wouldn't mind it being a little bit of a faster match. But long matches are quite entertaining, Data. So
Listen, so this is the last match in the whole round. I think.
yes,
Yeah, it is.
yes,
Like
it is.
I see Stateless not having a thing on the schedule sheet, but that's because they have a bye because it's a 31 team tournament. But yeah. So essentially, they have the floor. They can go as long as they want. Though I think for a lot of people that are maybe a little bit not well, or maybe a lot of people that just watched something that they didn't want to watch and are now kind of pissed and want to go to bed and like sleep off the kind of bad mood. Yeah, they kind of want them to finish a little bit earlier. But yeah, Hidden Chew and Hard Rock Chew Band, both precision and one of the reading maps in the pool. So, funnily enough, the one that combines both still up.
No one.
An immediate number 5. Very popular pick this round.
Has it been? It's a pretty consistency based map. I feel like it's got some goofy stuff happening in it, like a couple of these cut doubles mixed into some of the cut streams. But for the most part, I mean, this is just a cool little map from Kasu of times of old. I know this map was like very, very, very popular back in like 2018, 2017 era.
Yeah, I said this in a different broadcast, but basically, this kind of map doesn't exist anymore that much because all the Grave Tech mappers are just doing, either high slider velocity maps or some like evolved version of Circle Tech that's very messy. So honestly, I miss the kind of Akali Kasu era of like old Grave Tech maps that are just like very playability centric. Like they're very specifically targeted towards like players and like how we can make a map fun instead of most of the tech maps nowadays, which are like, oh, how can we make the map either look good or be very like, I guess
It's like
song
visual.
representation centric.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is definitely just you play the map because it's fun to play, not because it's fun to look at kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that is something I respect a lot about Katsu as well. He's been a long time mapper. I don't know how much he maps anymore. I think he's kind of moved a little bit away from Osu over the years, but yeah, this is gonna be your No Mom 5. a lot of lower BPM flow to this one on the stream, so really just going to come down to some of these more tricky patterns mixed into the map.
Yeah, and generally speaking, there's two pretty like circle techy kind of choruses, and then drops in this type of song. But then you have one kind of easier, less technical drop as well. But we shouldn't see misses until then. Atara a little bit of an early jitters miss, but should be fine.
Yep, coming into it, just get the miss out of the way early. Yeah, not going to be too big of an issue. This is a longer map as well. There's plenty of time left for recoveries to be made, but this is the build-up section where you could start to see potential breaks on some of these buzz sliders, but everybody's seemingly holding on to the combos for the time being here, Dada.
Atara did break a couple of times, and they break again, but it's a little bit of an early deficit for Michigan. But here's where the tough parts of the map really start to happen. Type Diamond and Tricky Pucks are both dropping. Will not be very good for the state of Michigan as all of Minnesota continues to hold.
Yeah, I mean, it's a three-way FC coming out of this Ki section, even hitting those cut stream patterns. The recoveries are starting to build up for Michigan, but as we get into this more heavy part of the Ki, finally do see the miss come through from Lillian. Type Diamond was going to trade out on that, and again, some more misses here on Lillian, but it's just misses from both Type Diamond and Adara, and it is going to continue to send that score over the way of Minnesota as both Destin and Swick hold on to the combos through this section.
Well, it's a lot of lead build, and as they go into the very simple like game centric drop, it's gonna expand it even more. So it's not. There's a slow section before that too, so it's even more.
Like, yeah, I mean, this is like what 300 combo, 400 free combo here.
Yeah, basically, I'd expect to see the lead grow to basically 500k before we even get any possibility of a miss. Unless someone misses on air, which is not impossible, as Yodston really does confirm that possibility, but still, the lead is growing because of Swick's combo, so...
Yeah, that miss from Destin is, it kind of hurts a little bit, but it is on like one of the harder jump patterns in the map. Those sliders are like really easy to slider break on, but going into the final Ki here, a lot more aim control, a little bit of finger control mixed in as well. You've got these back and forth patterns that you do have to properly aim in order to hit both the notes, but nobody is dropping combo. Accuracy-wise, it seems to have evened out a little bit more here from Michigan, but down goes Adara. It is get traded out by Lillian, but still holding on to the FC is Swick coming out of that section. There is one more cut pattern here for Swick to potentially break on, but otherwise this is a point in the bag for Minnesota.
I did say Yodston instead of Yodestin because I misread the little pronunciation thing. But yeah,
wait,
Swick's still holding combo. Yeah, you can go to broadcasting, pin messages is the second link on the air and pin message.
My goodness.
And it's one of the sheets that I reserved for this match.
It's so good.
Yeah, you click the little boxes and then everyone that specified their pronunciation has it there. That's why I know it's not type D diamond, it's typed diamond. As he finds a break at the end of the map. My bad.
Goodness. It's okay. That's gonna be the 2x100 1x50 from Swick. Honestly, kind of crazy accuracies across the board here. Nobody really struggling that much. I mean, even with Atara dropping down to 98.1% accuracy, like there's still their ratio of 300s to hundreds and 50s is like still quite good. So this really just came down to who was able to hold on to the combo through the middle section of the map, and it was Destin and Swick. And unfortunately, nobody on Michigan was able to keep that combo, so that is going to be Minnesota winning on their first pick here.
Yeah, it's Michigan's first pick. Let's see if they can come back from this early deficit. Was kind of not a closed map, but as first picks often are, they are pretty decisive. So let's see if Michigan goes to more of that reading aspect, as Minnesota did ban Hidden Chew, or if they go towards more of pure mechanics. Because one of the advantages I'd say that Minnesota has from picking Nomad 5 early on is that you don't really give a tell as to that aspect. Like, it's a little bit techy, it's a little bit gimmicky, but there's not much of either. So they don't know if they're gonna go towards something like Nomachu or TT3 or some more flow, or if they're gonna go towards more of that technical aspect with like Hidden 1 or Nomad 3, for example. But Fremont 3 is the choice, so they're gonna go more towards that mechanic side as Michigan picks one of the speed maps in the pool.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the speed maps, indeed. I think there's actually quite an abundance of mech picks in the pool if this does go well for Michigan that they could go into afterwards. Well, maybe not abundance, but there's like two more like picks that I'm looking at specifically that are higher speed, higher mechanics requirements. That Nomad 3 and the DT2, I think, are those. And so if this is a good pick for Michigan, I mean, then they've got a couple more to go off of that. However, I still do think that Minnesota is quite solid on these mechanics maps, so I am a little bit worried still for them. For Michigan, to be able to be getting this as their first point, but I mean, we haven't gotten to see anything like this yet between these two teams, so it still stands to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I think something also that's worth discussing is that a lot of the speed mechanics maps in this pool, from what I've seen in this round, have a little bit more consistency. They're a little bit easier, a little bit harder to miss. We've seen a lot of 5-ways, a lot of 4-ways, and if Michigan has a couple of misses, it might be a little hard to recover, but Minnesota can also get affected by the same thing essentially. So these might be a little bit more um, like a game of just like a couple misses, and whoever gets like the most unfortunate shit miss around the middle of the map instead of really saying if they did well or not on a map and they should continue going that mechanics path. But we do see one of those misses coming out from Lillian. The Comlaw will trade it.
Just a little bit earlier was Umar finding the first break in the map as well, so still going to be slight combo advantage on the side of Minnesota for the beginning of this map. Plenty more map left to be played, but those misses coming through from Com on the Nomad is not the player that you want to be missing on. Now, granted, still on that 99.1% accuracy, so these misses really do just kind of feel a little bit unorthodox, maybe a little bit of nerves coming into it, but 70,000 points and continuing to climb in favor of Minnesota, although that's a double miss here from Swick and Combo, and that's a full reset for Michigan, actually, as we get into this Ki section. So that is going to heavily swing that score lead over towards Minnesota. Despite Lillian finding another break, it's still Destin holding on to the combo here on the Nomad for Minnesota.
Yo, Destin is having a pretty good, pretty good run this map. Everyone else missing on it, but Destin's still holding around that 98%. And people on Michigan are still getting those misses every now and then. Tricky and Comlaw have both gotten a little bit of a recovery combo, but Umar's still kind of struggling on that hard rock a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, already 300,000 points in favor of Minnesota. There's still more combo density left in this map, but 300,000 points worth of it, especially with Umar finding the break. I mean, you do have the recoveries on both Kamala and Tricky Pugster, but you would need like breaks from Yo Destin and the other combo remaining on Minnesota right now. Yo Destin does find that break, but yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be enough for them. That miss coming through now from Tricky Pugster is going to be a little bit too much for Michigan to be able to bring it back, unfortunately. And so this is going to be a break point here for Minnesota to get this rolling now 2-0.
Yeah, unfortunately, if Tricky Pugster had kept that combo, maybe we would have been seeing a close finish. But Swick and Kamala just have basically the exact same combo, so it is going to be a first break point for Minnesota as they're in Rhode Island, which is neither of these states.
We're in Rhode Island. Has anyone ever signed up from Rhode Island ever?
Yes.
Do we have Rhode Island signups for stateless?
We had a couple of Rhode Island signups before. I don't think we have them this year. Let me just double check.
Cause like that is such a crazy state to have in USC. If we could get Rhode Island going, like we need to like hunt people down who play Osu from all the different states that like have never had a team before, and just be like, yo, you guys need to play this tournament because we like state diversity. Or at the very least, like seeing new teams come to fruition. Like this year we got to see, what was it, New Mexico? I believe was the first ever year that they've had a team. I'm not sure if there were any other ones, but
they might have had a team once, or at least went to stateless a bunch of times. But
okay.
Yeah, we exchanged a couple of teams. I believe Alabama didn't have a team anymore. There was another team that famously doesn't have a team anymore.
Oh, New Mexico had a team in 2021 and 2022. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's fine then. Shoutouts to our resident historian here in Yoshi Lover.
I want to give shoutouts to Walter Hartwell White, living in Juantabo. No, that's Gail Bedecker. No, hold on.
You got this. Oh, that's for Rhode Island. Oh, brand new. There we go.
My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 308 Negra Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque.
There it is. We do not endorse smoking crack. Is that what they make? They make crack, right?
Meth. They make meth.
Meth. We don't endorse that one either.
Listen, if you're gonna smoke anything, smoke your smoke key in game.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Haven't seen any like coordinated smokes from the teams yet. It's not like Counter-Strike or anything, you know?
Yeah. The smoke play in the middle of the map.
But this is gonna be the Hard Rock 1 here for Minnesota, looking to try to consolidate on this breakpoint that they got on that free mod 3. Looks like GLHFs are coming out. No new changes for Minnesota. We do have, I think, Type Diamond coming back in for Michigan. I'm not sure if they were in for the previous map. Umar as well, and Tricky Pugster here, all for this Hard Rock 1. This is like a kind of a techier Hard Rock, actually. I would say this is probably one of the harder, if not hardest, maps in the pool. Just off of like being able to combo the map. There's a lot of finger control in it. So you already seen a couple of 1/3s here, and they do return throughout the map. A lot of aim control as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can miss on. It's just kind of an all-rounder mechanics with a little bit of tech involved. So there's just 1/3, there's slider sections, there's more aimy sections, or aimy patterns at least, and some of the like harder parts of this map are these kinds of pentagons where there's a little bit of flow involved as well on streams. Destin finding the first break Umar close behind, so still true FC Suchu. Never mind, as Tricky Pugster will find another break for the state of Michigan. So Type Diamond versus Swick and Lillian.
Yep, these are going to be a little bit difficult here for Michigan to get things rolling, especially with the continued misses coming through from the players that have already found those breaks earlier on. But Type Diamond needs to see some more breaks on the side of Minnesota. Just that miss earlier from Destin, and that's not going to be enough to help swing that score lead back over the way of Michigan. And again, still more 1/3, and Type Diamond loses out on that full combo. Unfortunately, that is the last big combo gone for Michigan. Next highest is on Tricky Pugster, but it's still trailing behind even the recovery on Destin. As we get into the second KI here, still Swick and Lillian holding on to the FCs, Dada.
Yeah,
Oh.
Nope.
Well.
Nope. Oh,
Nope. Okay, so anyways,
remember when we had combo?
Remember when caster cursing wasn't real, and then people were like, "Ooh, you just cursed them." Yeah. So anyway, the combos are now gone as far as the full combos go. There's still good recoveries on 2 players, 1 for each team. So, I mean, it's going to continue to stay in favor of Minnesota, especially as these recoveries start to build back up for both Swick and Lillian. And the misses continue to come through on Michigan. Unfortunately, they're just not having quite as good a time on this Hard Rock 1.
Yeah, even if Destin will find a break, I don't think it is... I don't think there's quite enough time. Even if Tricky Pugster continues with this combo and everyone else stops missing, I think there's just not enough map. Everybody in Minnesota is looking pretty comfortable, but then we have a double miss from Michigan traded with Lillian from Minnesota. Swick on a recovery combo, so is Destin, and Tricky Pugster just can't do enough.
I mean, this core 3 for Minnesota right here. Yo, Destin, Lillian, and Swick. I believe they've played all 3 maps so far in this match. And they are quite the powerhouse here for Minnesota. Definitely, I feel like on the lower side when it comes to seeding, based on their actual skill level. But you know, Michigan also, same thing could be said. Tricky Pucks are finally going to lose that combo that they had on the recovery. It was quite high when they ended up missing, but there's already over 500,000. Looks like the second highest score in the lobby right now as we come into the closing section of the song. And yeah, this is going to be a easily consolidated breakpoint here for Minnesota, leading 3-0 now.
Yeah, a lot of these maps have had a little bit of parts where they're close, but most of the time at the end of the day they get pretty one-sided, and I think this is no exception. Minnesota just held combos for longer, more consistently. Umar not really having that good of a time on this map, and basically Tricky Pugster was the only score in the sort of Minnesota average that could match up. So it's not looking very good, but again, they are technically still just one breakpoint behind. So it's not impossible to come back.
Yeah, definitely not within the realm of making a comeback here, although it's going to be a little bit difficult. I mean, we are still best of 9, but as far as, you know, future Michigan picks go, that Fremont 3 really not going their way. I don't know if I'd see something like the DT2 pick come through for them. I do think something like the Hidden One would still be a good pick for Michigan. But at this point, I mean, it's like the world's their oyster. They could go anything, and it probably wouldn't be the worst pick. I think just probably steer clear of that DT2, unless, you know, the DT2 compared to the Fremont 3, like you said earlier, it's one of the maps that's gotten a lot of like multi-full combos for teams, like we've seen 3-ways and stuff. And so yeah, it is actually going to be that DT2. I was going to say I could see them still going it anyways, just because, like, you know, it is a very consistency forward map.
Yeah, it is kind of a very consistently forward map with a little bit of that speed element that we saw in Fremont 3. I think they're kind of betting that they just had an unfortunate set of runs on the Fremont 3 again that lets them still be competitive in any other sort of speed map or mechanics map. But this specific map, even though it's OD6, I believe, based, um, we haven't been seeing the best of accuracies just because the rhythms are a little bit janky and old. But we have seen
Definitely.
a couple of matches like Virginia, Pennsylvania, and other high seed matches have pretty good runs on this consistently. So might be in this match, I'd say like a true AFC potentially.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for sure, you could see a two-way. I know in our match versus Arizona, it was like double 3 million team score, even with I think a miss per team. Or maybe they three-way FC'd. I actually don't remember. We had like one miss, and it was still over 3 million team score. So this is a map where, you know, if you've got the players who can tap it, you can get some pretty good scores consistently. But you know, anything in practice is one thing. Anything in a match is another. And it looks like we've got all the players already lined up. But Minnesota, they're sticking with their tried and true three: Destin, Swick, and Lillian. For Michigan, it looks like Comlol is going to be coming in here over type Diamond from the previous map for this more tapping-oriented pick. Tricky Puckster and Umar going to maintain from the previous picks as well.
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota just apparently have 3 players and a couple cheerleaders. Meanwhile, Michigan, they have 4 players, and one of them swaps in for the tapping maps. The Click X, Comlol, or maybe Tap X, who knows. But very, very interesting playstyles for a speed player. I think we've seen a couple of these kinds of players in the past. People like Oxycodone, people like I think who else is a Tap X player actually?
You know, Oxycodone's really the only one that comes to my mind, and I'm not even joking when I say that. But yeah, there's been plenty others. It was a Korean player that was really good at aim. I can't remember their name. Shoot. Either way, already looks like this is going to be going quite a bit better for Michigan, although the misses do come through from both Comlol and Umar pretty early on. But that's a break from Swick on the longer streams here. It is going to be Tricky Puckster versus Destin right now on the main FCs, but better recoveries on the side of Michigan, better accuracies as well, it looks like, as both Swick and Lillian drop down to about 92% accuracy and continuing to find more misses. These chain 100s and 50s are really hurting their score, and already Dada 500,000 points in favor of Michigan. I mean, this is what we needed to see them do here. Another breakpoint on this pick would have been pretty detrimental to them. So this is going to be Michigan finding their first point on the board. Still down that one breakpoint, but definitely much more doable now with this point.
Definitely.
I'm gonna look up that TapX player that I'm trying to think of.
I mean, I know the Tap X player like Emilia, they're pretty good at aim,
Yes,
but they were
that's what I was thinking
Singaporean.
of.
When he said Korean, it completely like swung out to me.
Oh, right, not Korean, but yeah. Listen, man, it's almost midnight. Definitely past my bedtime. My brain is not functioning at its full capacity.
It's so past my bedtime. I woke up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, Michigan is having a much better time in the accuracy department and in the combo department. Tricky Puckster with that FC Comlaw with one unfortunate slider break, but still maintaining almost a 99%. Meanwhile, despite the map being OD6, Minnesota not having the best of times in the accuracy department makes me think that they don't really have that stamina. They just kind of had to put their 3 best players and hope that they could mash well enough, which, you know, they tried.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you know who I was thinking of? It wasn't Amelia, but that was one of the players that I was trying to think of. It wasn't Ponytail? Ponytail was a TapX player, I believe.
Was it?
And I do believe Ponytail is from South Korea. Somebody fact check that. I'm pretty sure Ponytail is TapX.
Ponytail is South Korean. I don't remember him being TapX, at least not off the top of my head.
But either way, it's the Nomad 3 pick here for Minnesota. Dada, was this supposed to be like the tech map in the Nomad pool?
No.
But it just
Tech
turned
map in the
speed?
Nomad pool. The tech map in the Nomad pool is supposed to be Nomad 5. It just
Gotcha.
happens that it's not very techy, but this
Gotcha,
is like
gotcha.
a little bit of tech, a little bit of alt, a little bit of speed, a little bit of
Gotcha.
gimmicky, kind of like reading the sliders, sort of rhythm. It's just everything. This map is a lot.
Definitely on the more difficult side, I feel like. This is one of the kinds of maps that I feel like some of the higher seeds would abuse versus like the lower seeds. But this is Minnesota picking it, and again, I did mention already that like the seeding might not be super accurate here for these two teams, but it's been Yodes and Swick and Lillian just firing on all cylinders, and like this is the kind of stuff that these three are quite good at. So that is probably the reason why they're picking it, despite, you know, having lost on that DT2 where there is speed to it, but a different kind of speed, more prolonged tapping. This is a lot more like finger control tapping. You got doubles, you've got some tricky patterns, a lot of speed up, slow down sections. So just really needing to control your tapping a lot more on this rather than that DT2.
Yeah, the nature of the song speeding up and doing all these weird rhythms makes it so that you have to control your tapping. Lillian finding a little bit of an early break shouldn't be too consequential, but you never know. Meanwhile, the first part of the map is just sort of this like rhythm control part of the map. So for a little bit of speed, Comlo will find a break to trade, so Minnesota have an early lead, but now we get into a little bit of that the famous sort of like progression of the song where it just keeps getting higher pitched and a little bit faster. Comlo will find another break, so still true of Cease to Chew, however Lillian having a pretty good recovery combo.
Yeah, I do believe this is 260 BPM at that point. But yeah, just really calm while going to be finding those misses on the side of Michigan. It was a very early break from Lillian, but already 300,000 points. I mean, the map is short, Data. Like, we're coming into the final third of the map, and I feel like it really hasn't even started yet. But still, again, another speed up section here with a lot more of the slider focus, a little bit of the alt here, and if anybody is going to miss, it would be probably on this section, and that's a pretty big triple miss from Michigan. Unfortunately, only player to find the break was the player who found one earlier in Lillian, and it's still two players make that one, make that zero now for Minnesota, holding on to the combos, but the damage has been done. 500,000 points, map coming to a close, and I mean, yeah, this is quite the score coming through here for Minnesota.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Michigan all broke on the same section, however, they did have an AC. The gap is understating it because Type Diamond just was
Yeah,
just the mother of all combo games with 87% consistent throughout that. But yeah, Swick and Destin both holding until the very end section where it gets very fast and a little bit tricky. So uh, good scores from them. Minnesota has match point now, and they have to break point Michigan on this pick if they want to achieve it.
definitely need to find some breakpoints here. What is this? It would be one breakpoint and 2 points of their own in order to take it to that tiebreaker, that 9-minute tiebreaker. That is like kind of nasty. Already I feel like if it does somehow go the distance to the tiebreaker, you know, not somehow, like if it does go the distance to tiebreaker, I feel like it would just be favoring Minnesota, just given all of the picks that we've seen so far from them and how they have performed across those picks. But you know, that's for another day, another time potentially. We still need Michigan to kind of get things rolling in their direction. And hey, like all the like high BPM mechanics maps, they're gone. So we do have to see them go a different route here. And you know, you still do have that DT1 potentially. I mean, that is just like aim, but it's got bursts in it. So if you're still feeling comfortable on the DT, which, you know, they did good on the DT2, then I could see that one going their way. But it's Falcon Sound Team JDK Part 2 here on the free mod 2.
They won the first one, so maybe they'll
Yeah,
win the second one.
maybe.
This is a very different kind of map. You've probably seen Raging Mygo anti-mod somewhere. You, as in the viewer, not Liliana. But I know they have seen it. But
Yes, yes, yes.
the Raging Mygo anti-mod started here basically. This is their first ranked map, and it's way nastier than a lot of them. It just has some really evil patterns, some back and forth, some cut streams, some really things you wouldn't expect this kind of map to have from a first glance. So I think a lot of people are gonna want to go that hard rock. A lot of people are gonna want to go that easy, perhaps, to make a couple of those cut streams a little bit easier. But well, basically, I thought we were gonna see a new face in Minnesota. Apparently not.
No.
Kiri was just there to say hello.
Unfortunately, probably not going to see a new face here for Minnesota. I mean, their other three players are still so very good at the game, but these three core players for Minnesota, Lillian, Swick, and Destin, are just like this is the Minnesota team. I think this has kind of just been the Minnesota team for a couple of years, at the very least, like 2 years. So yeah, it's tough to say like, oh, we should put someone else in, because like they're better at the map. When most things, I think these three are just your three picks for it. But hey, this is Silboy coming in on the easy. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Maybe not the hidden player, but I knew there was some gimmick to Silboy on the easy here. So it is double the score, and it is also calculated into the stream already, so not to worry about that. But yeah, this map's pretty mean already, seeing Lillian find a break on the first cut stream, and that's a double miss on Minnesota to lose out on the rest of the full combos.
Yeah, nobody in Minnesota is still having that full combo. Meanwhile, both Type Diamond and Subway maintaining that little bit of an early start, favoring Michigan. Meanwhile, Minnesota will continue to find a couple of the misses. Lillian and Tricky Bugs are being the latest misses, but yeah, a couple of accuracy problems for Minnesota, I'd say. Swick on that B rank right now, Lillian with that 94, Destin with that 96, which is not bad for this kind of map, but still not ideal. Type Diamond also on that 92, not really being too much better. So boy, we'll find a break. It's too late!
Start your engines! It's USC Monday Night Mania!
I never thought I'd start the motors, but yeah, still Michigan with that lead despite the breaks. Tricky Puckster having a good recovery combo of his own, and Soulboy still with that better act. Oh, okay, Tricky Puckster will find a break again, so maybe now Minnesota will start with those recovery combos of their own to pull back that lead and potentially overtake.
Yeah, I mean, they still have the combos working their direction despite Lillian not quite able to hold onto the combo. I feel like the hidden mod on this map is probably the hardest mod combination to have to play on it. Tricky Puckster continuing to find a couple more breaks. That combo that both Type Diamond and Tricky Puckster were on, though, is where most of this Michigan score is coming from. And as that score finally switches over the way of Minnesota, you know, it's Destin still holding on to this miraculous 800 combo, and nobody really quite close to that. You do have good recovery here on two of the players, but that's the hardest part of the entire map, and it's a full wipe across the board here. Nobody able to hold on during those cut double patterns, and yeah,
besides
it's
Destin,
just looking bad.
Destin is still holding.
Oh wait, Destin's holding? I didn't even see Destin holding. What? That was a banjo break then.
But they're still holding, and they're gonna get this like 800, almost 900k score on this map, which is very impressive on that Hard Rock mod. And they will be taking Minnesota on through the next round. Honestly, 880k almost, really, really good score, and that breakpoint will seal the deal for Michigan as I believe, unfortunately, they will be bowing out of the tournament.
Yeah, this is a losers bracket matchup. Both these teams had not the greatest start to the tournament, unfortunately. It was 0-5s, I think, for both of them. Michigan losing to Oklahoma in the round of 32, and Nevada making Minnesota drop down to the losers bracket. But yeah, unfortunately, one of these two teams had to go. I think this is going to be one of the worst years for Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. Normally a team that gets more than 1 point throughout the tournament, but yeah, just not doing too great, unfortunately, and so this will be goodbye for Michigan. Minnesota, though, played phenomenally between the three players that ended up playing, Swickly and Neo Destin. They will move forward in through the losers bracket into the round of 16. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us, and that'll do it for, or excuse me, not round of 16, quarterfinals. That'll do it for the round of 16, as that was the final match. Dada, you got any closing words for us?
Yodston.
Yodston. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Shout out to Keys for the stream. Dada, thanks again for joining me. And yeah, we will see you guys next week with more matches in the quarterfinals.
See?